And straight ahead here on News 13 Now, the Patriots are super again. We have the action and reaction from Super Bowl 53. And the only thing louder than the crowd at Super Bowl 53 may have been the halftime show. We'll show you some of the biggest moments from the performance.
Hot.
This is News 13 Now, coverage you can count on.
Thanks for joining us for News 13 Now on this Monday morning. I'm Brandon Herring. Well, Tom Brady and the New England Patriots are celebrating another championship this morning after knocking off the Rams last night in Super Bowl 53 in Atlanta. But it wasn't the offensive shootout many expected.
Running in for the touchdown!
It was a 3-3 tie in the fourth quarter when Brady led New England on a 69-yard drive that ended with a touchdown by former Georgia Bulldog Sonny Michel. The Rams were on their way to a score when they got the ball back, but former Gamecock star Stephon Gilmore picked off a Jared Goff pass at the 3-yard line with 4 minutes left. New England won the lowest scoring Super Bowl ever, 13-3 for their 6th championship since 2002, and Brady has led them all.
I'm so happy.
And it's just unbelievable.
I think it's man-to-man. Then all of a sudden they'll drop out of the zone sometimes.
The game's most valuable player. He had 10 catches for 141 yards. And thousands of Patriots fans took to the streets of Boston last night to celebrate the Patriots' 6th Super Bowl win. Fans were seen dancing and marching down the streets in jubilation. A parade and celebration in Boston will be scheduled in the coming days. A number of local bars and night spots geared up for big game crowds last night, including Dave & Buster's. More than 1,000 fans came out to watch the big game at Dave & Buster's at Broadway at the beach. Fans were treated to food as well as giveaways throughout the night. There was even dancing and, of course, video games.
The atmosphere was great.
And several fans told us they could not have picked a better venue to watch the game and are now just starting the countdown to Super Bowl 54. Just that little sample there shows you it wasn't all about the game, though. Maroon 5 headlined a star-studded halftime show. The 3-time Grammy-winning band performed on an M-shaped stage and was joined by hip-hop stars Travis Scott and Big Boy. And one of the highlights of watching any Super Bowl is the commercials, of course. Some were funny, some were sweet, but Pepsi's was loaded with star power.
Pepsi's more than okay. It's okay.
Actor Steve Carell and rappers Lil Jon and Cardi B all made an appearance in the commercial featuring Pepsi's new slogan, "More Than Okay." Christina Applegate starred in the new M&M ad. It marks the first time M&M's has debuted a new product during a Super Bowl advertisement. Budweiser's Wind Power commercial opted for a different kind of star, focusing on a floppy-eared Dalmatian.
Glass breaking, people yelling for their lives, screaming, God help me.
And in other news, 5 people are dead after a small plane crashed into a home and burst into flames. The pilot and 4 people inside of the Southern California home died. 2 other people were hurt. The crash happened about 35 miles southeast of Los Angeles. Witnesses say the plane first hit the ground and then hit the house.
It felt like an earthquake, so I actually grabbed my kids and went into the hallway under the door, and there were a couple of booms, explosions, and then my husband said, "No, it's a plane."
We're told the people in the home were having a Super Bowl party when the plane hit. After a 9-hour manhunt, an MMA fighter accused of killing 2 people is back in custody. Investigators say Cedric Marks killed an ex-girlfriend and her friend last month. Authorities found their bodies in a shallow grave in Oklahoma. The manhunt for Marks began after he escaped from a private prison transport van during a stop at a McDonald's in Texas. South Carolina is among the least safest states in America. That's according to a new set of numbers released by the National Council for Home Safety and Security. The agency found South Carolina ranked 47th for property crime and 39th for violent crimes. If you're looking for a safe city in the Palmetto State, Charleston was ranked at the top. North Myrtle Beach ranked 7th, Conway 23rd, Myrtle Beach 26th, and Florence 31st. Someone in the Carolinas bought a lottery ticket worth $2 million. The North Carolina Lottery says it was purchased at a Publix in Hendersonville. The Powerball ticket matched all 5 white balls that were drawn on Saturday night. The chances of doing that are 1 in more than 11.5 million. So a very lucky person out there this morning. And we're not so unlucky in the weather department. Jonathan Went joins us now to talk a little bit about today's forecast. Jonathan?
Yeah, it's going to be a really in a few minutes.
And after the break, find out about a local healthcare facility doing what they can to help the homeless. A sociology professor at Coastal Carolina University did a survey of 150 homeless people in Horry County. The results overwhelmingly praised a local clinic for its services. 75% of the homeless people surveyed said Little River Medical Center was an invaluable resource to serve their physical needs. Aside from transitional doctor visits, vision and dental care, the center offers free and reduced prescriptions, SNAP benefits, marketplace insurance, and an HIV and AIDS outreach program. Patients are treated regardless of their financial status and set up a plan to pay when they are able to.
For those days.
After learning transportation was a major obstacle for the homeless, CCU sociology professor Stephanie Southworth and a colleague established the Roll Forward program. The initiative works with homeless shelters to loan bikes out so that they can get to job interviews or work or even the doctor's office. Happening today, Conway City Council will select a firm to conduct a feasibility study for Riverfront Outdoor Theater. You may remember we've told you since last spring, City Council voted to conduct a feasibility study to determine whether building an amphitheater would be possible downtown. The city hopes to build it along the river. The study would determine the exact location and whether there is enough interest for the venue. Council meets at 5:30 today. You can count on News 13 to bring you updates to this story. Happening this week, the Women's Leadership Conference and Celebration of Inspiring Women. It's at the Myrtle Beach Convention Center today and tomorrow. The event brings together women from all walks of life for 2 days of education, professional and personal development, and networking. You can go to visitmyrtlebeach.com for more information. The deadline for North Carolina's STEP program has been extended once again. Homeowners affected by the Hurricane Florence will now have until Sunday, February 10th to apply. The program provides partial repairs to allow people to leave temporary housing and return home. Assistance is available in 12 counties, including Brunswick, Columbus, and Robeson counties. You can find a link to the online application and how you can apply even over the phone at wbtw.com. Flooding has forced thousands of people from their homes in Australia, and it brought crocodiles and snakes into the streets. Officials describe the flooding as a 1 in 100 year event, and the situation could get worse before it gets better.
Tuesday.
Well, still to come here on News 13 now, find out why obesity-related cancer cases are on the rise in young adults, and we'll take a look at the risk women face when using fertility treatments to conceive. Plus pot for your pets. So we'll tell you about some companies that claim marijuana can help some animals with health issues. In today's Count on Health, a new Canadian study finds infertility treatments may increase a woman's risk for developing postpartum hemorrhage and sepsis. Researchers found women who turned to in vitro fertilization and other treatments were about 40% more likely to experience some type of complication compared to women who conceived naturally. A new study suggests young adults between the ages of 25 and 49 are being diagnosed with obesity-related cancers more quickly than older generations. Researchers say a change in eating habits and physical activity could be effective ways to tackle that trend. Drivers who don't wear seatbelts are likely to have younger passengers who also don't buckle up. That's according to a new study in the journal Pediatrics. Researchers studied data from accidents between 2011 through 2015 involving passengers aged 19 and younger. They recommend stronger seatbelt laws targeting unrestrained passengers. Experts say teeth brushing practices aren't in line with recommendations. The Centers for Disease Control published a study with data from about 5,000 children between 3 and 15 years old. They found that nearly 80% of parents weren't brushing their baby's teeth early enough. Healthcare professionals say brushing should start when the child gets their first tooth. The CDC also found that about 1/3 of kids only brushed their teeth once a day instead of the recommended twice daily. As more states legalize marijuana for medicinal and recreational use, some companies are now marketing cannabis products for your pets. But experts caution the supplements aren't necessarily a good fit for every animal. Chris Martinez reports. CBD products from hemp, not marijuana, are legal in every state, and most can be purchased online. Still to come here on News 13 Now, calls for the Democratic governor of Virginia to resign are escalating. We'll tell you why an old picture from college is the reason for backlash later in the show. But before that, find out where you can see some sword fights, cannons, and pirates scaling high above an indoor pirate ship. That's coming up after the break. Well, welcome back to News 13 Now. Friday is a big day for Pirates Voyage in Myrtle Beach, and joining us now to talk about what we can expect during the show's upcoming 9th season is Calico Jack. Thanks so much for being here.
Ahoy there. Thank you for having me back. Yeah.
You managed to find the way again.
I did. Even all over 17. It's hard to navigate a ship on the road, but I somehow made it here, yes.
Good to know. New season. It's hard to imagine. It's been 9 years at this point that Pirates Voyage has been here, but every season brings a little something new. So what can people expect from the Pirates Voyage experience?
Well, if I went over the entire, enjoying a 4-course pirate feast. Absolutely incredible.
It is called a dinner and a show, isn't it?
That's right.
So tell me a little bit about what is for dinner.
Oh, there's just so many things. You'll have to come see it for yourself to wonderful cheese biscuits.
This is, am I correct in that this is all things you can eat by hand?
Oh, of course, yes, you can. But we do provide a fork just in case you didn't want to be so savagery.
Just in case.
Yes, and of course for dessert we do have our apple turnover, which is delicious.
Excellent. Really, that does sound really good. From personal experience, can say that it's delicious. That's obviously some video that we're showing folks there. Some other things, there are cannons, there's a pirate sing-along. Tell me a little bit more about just kind of the overall experience.
Well, the overall experience, we are in the business, all the treasure in the world. It really is.
How long have you been on the shores of Myrtle Beach, let's say?
Well, let's see, I've been on the pirate ship for going on, 195 years now, but I've been at Pirates Voyage for quite a while now.
Okay. This is something that is absolutely family-friendly.
Oh, yes. It is for everyone. It's for children and older people and everyone in between. Everyone in the family can enjoy this.
Got it. People want more information. They don't have to navigate their ships over to Pirates
No,
Voyage.
fortunately, no. We are on the World Wide Web at piratesvoyage.com. You can get all the information you need right there.
All right, what's the site again?
piratesvoyage.com.
All right, information about shows, tickets.
Anything and everything you'd want to know about who we are.
Good to know. All right, anything else we are leaving out? Show kicks off this new season. You guys get a little bit of a rest during the winter months?
Not too much,
really,
but enough to recharge the batteries, as you would say. But no, we do open up this Friday on the 8th, and we are so looking forward to having everyone come and see us.
All right, sounds great. Calico Jack, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. It's always a good time. I mean, this is just a small sample, folks.
That's correct.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
Jonathan.
Well, we're going to have a very...
And welcome back to News 13 Now. Jonathan Went does join me now to talk a little bit about today's forecast. I feel like after all this kind of up and down, we're still on an up and down trend.
We're still up and down, but this week it's going to be fairly consistent.
Okay. At least it'll be nice and warm. And
yes.
All that talk about the groundhog seeing a shadow or not, and I guess we're getting that early spring taste. Although I think what Sir Walter Raleigh or whatever, the groundhog in Raleigh, saw his shadow, which was opposite from Punxsutawney Phil up in Pennsylvania.
So
mixed bag, folks.
Those comparisons, it's always funny. Obviously, it's just for fun.
The track record isn't really good, I don't think.
We're the actual forecasters.
Right, yes.
We always make, the meteorologists always joke about the Groundhog Day.
Of course.
I mean, as a kid, it's, it was fun, but as actual meteorologists,
Right, it's just an entertainment day, Groundhog Day is now. Let's go ahead and take a look outside, see what it's looking like out there in the Little River area this morning. And that's not a bad shot out there, John. It's looking pretty good.
It is, and this is what it's pretty much going to look like throughout much of the day.
Well, it's time now for a check of some of today's top headlines. Again, the Patriots are Super Bowl champions. New England beat the LA Rams 13-3 in Super Bowl 53 in Atlanta. It was the lowest scoring game in Super Bowl history. The Patriots have now won 6 NFL championships to tie the Pittsburgh Steelers record. Restaurants across the area went above and beyond to prepare for the Super Bowl. We stopped by 702 Pizza and Brew in Myrtle Beach. The owner told us they ordered extra ingredients and made some of their popular dishes in advance. Over at Serafino's Pizzeria, the staff also took steps to stay ahead of the rush. The restaurant had more servers, delivery drivers, and kitchen staff to handle the extra Super Bowl orders. They say it's all about excellent customer service.
Happy nice location.
The National Restaurant Association says about 50 million Americans ordered takeout for their big game parties. And more than 24 arrests were made for counterfeit Super Bowl tickets and merchandise. Over the past year, U.S. Immigration and Border officials confiscated nearly 300,000 items worth an estimated $24 million. That's about $10 million more than last year.
Many fans could actually happen through the internet.
28 people in all have been arrested, 21 were convicted. In an exclusive interview with CBS News, President Trump says that he wants to keep U.S. troops in Iraq to keep an eye on Iran. He also talked about the recent government shutdown and whether he will shut it down again. Take a listen.
Would you shut down
things off the table?
President Trump is also declaring a national emergency on the table if he doesn't get Democrats to agree to a border wall by that February negotiation deadline. The president also made news in talking about U.S. troops in Iraq and a dual purpose he says they're serving. Iraq's president responded this morning saying U.S. troops are there as part of a specific mission to combat terrorism. He said President Trump never asked for permission to watch Iran. New this morning, there are calls for the governor of Virginia, Ralph Northam, to resign. This comes after a racist yearbook photo of the governor surfaced. So far, Northam is refusing to step down. Friday night, after the photo first surfaced, he apologized for appearing in the photo. Northam is now claiming that the racist photo is not him.
I believe the same period of my life.
Northam did, however, admit to another moment in 1984, as you heard him reference there, when he blackened his face for a dance competition. There are calls for him to step down across the nation. President Trump weighed in, saying what Northam did is unforgivable. Want to grow your own vegetables but don't have a lot of room? Well, stick around because after the break, we're going to tell you how you can make that dream a reality. And later, find out how the polar vortex eased the pain at the pump. Well, welcome back to News 13 Now. The 39th Annual Spring Home Show is this weekend at the Myrtle Beach Convention Center, and there will be several workshops and demonstrations during the show. So joining us now to talk about just one of those is Gary Forrester. He's here to teach us a little bit about growing vegetables in small spaces. You're an expert in this field. You're an extension agent with Clemson
Yes,
Extension.
I am. I am a horticulturalist with the Extension Service here.
This idea of growing vegetables in a small space, I think is becoming more and more needed and popular.
Right. Well, of course, gardening is one of the most popular. We cut a salad once a week. So you don't need a large area to grow, and even if you have, some decent ground, or you can build small boxes if you want to go a little bit bigger.
I wondered about that because I guess my initial thought was maybe building, a box, maybe the size of, our anchor desk here, maybe or something.
It goes back to the old square foot gardening days. You build a square foot box. Of course, if you go in ground, you've got to have decent soil to be able to grow stuff in. That's why with most people who are going to do small stuff, I've seen people doing wagons. You can get wagons and just drill some holes. That way you can pull it around. If you don't have a lot of sun on one side of the house, you can pull it around to the sun and kind of follow things around. Or if an HOA doesn't allow you to have it, you can hide it in the back.
That's a pretty good idea. I have not thought about that. So a lot of the options actually do have to do with containers that you can maybe even move around.
Right.
And a wagon sounds like a great idea because when it gets a little wet, it's going to get heavy. A wagon will help you move it if you need to.
I've used old canoes before. When I was in college, we had an old wooden canoe. We just chopped it in half and drilled some holes, shoved it up against the bank, filled it with potting soil, and we had a garden.
How about that? What are maybe some potential problems that people might run into if they're doing small space gardening?
Growing vegetables in the ground all year long, even the warm season stuff.
That's really interesting, and I guess that's an advantage of putting things in pots that you might
Got
not have thought
hurricanes
about.
coming, they'll keep them blowing over. You can bring them in and you can protect them a lot easier.
So you're going to cover some of these things in a kind of a show and tell seminar coming up this weekend, right?
Yep,
at the home show.
That is correct.
You have 2 other ones as
I
well.
do.
And that's just like you are 3 of, I don't know, a dozen or so
there's a bunch of
learning opportunities for people this weekend.
There are.
What are the other 2 topics?
I'm doing one on Saturday on green shape coming this spring.
Got it, okay. And we're also going to be having, later this week, we're going to have home interior talk and some other things as well. So you're not the only person to preview, because there is a kind of a lot going on. Have you done this home show in the past?
This will be my 29th year.
Yeah. So this guy's an old veteran there. It really is a really nice event for people.
And it's grown.
It's so much more than just kind of going around and shopping. You really do learn some stuff.
That's right. And I'll be there in clinic.
Right, exactly right. So if people have questions, they don't necessarily have to wait for your seminar times or workshops.
I'll be there. Just look for me. You see the guy in a orange shirt. And, if you got anything you want to bring in for me to look at, bring it in and I'll look at it and we'll see if we get problems answered.
That sounds pretty good. Let's go ahead and tell people exactly when the home show is. Again, it's Friday and Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then on Sunday from 11 to 5. Happens there at the Myrtle Beach Convention Center. $5 to get in, and then it's kind of all sorts of stuff in there for you to see and do. All right, Gary, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
I appreciate it. I have no doubt that there will be plenty of interested people this weekend.
Sure there will be.
All right, well, we appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
Jonathan?
It's February, so don't get too used to it. Don't start planting flowers and stuff.
No.
It's way too early for that, but it's going to make you want to do so.
And I feel, is this normal to have this trend of having fronts come through and cool us down and warm us up and cool us down? I feel like it's a little more exaggerated this
It depends
year.
on the weather pattern of the year. We're in this weather pattern where we've seen that polar vortex weakening, and again, the polar vortex never moves, but when it weakens, it draws down that colder air. Well, the polar vortex is now strengthening, so it's kind of keeping that colder air to the north. And we've got a ridge of high pressure building that's going to keep those fronts away from us at least for this week.
Got it. So there is a little bit of a variation in this normal winter pattern that's not exactly normal.
That's not exactly normal, no. We've been below normal, we've been above normal, so.
All right.
Yeah.
It's not just my imagination. No. The swings not being like this normally.
No, but it's South Carolina. South Carolina has a mind of its own.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Jonathan. We'll be right back. The polar vortex, which sent chills across the U.S., had one upside: lower gas prices. Analysts say that sub-zero temperatures dented demand, triggering that drop. And according to AAA, the nation's average for regular gasoline edged closer to $2.25 a gallon today. The fight over the future of Sears moves to a New York courtroom today. A bankruptcy judge will hear arguments for and against a plan to allow the retail giant to be sold to its chairman, Eddie Lampert, for $5.3 billion. Those opposing the deal include the company's creditors. They say Lampert's mismanagement led to Sears going bankrupt. About 4,000 General Motors workers will lose their jobs today. The layoffs are a part of a 15% reduction in white-collar jobs in North America. The car company first announced the reduction back in November, along with plans to close 4 U.S. plants and 1 in Canada. It's all part of ongoing cost reductions to free up $6 billion a year to invest in new car technology like electric and self-driving vehicles. Florence School District 1 held its annual teacher recruitment fair over the weekend at South Florence High School. The hundreds of teachers from all over the Carolinas met with principals, a Teacher of the Year, and school staff members in hopes of joining the district. All Florence 1 schools had their own stands to network and talk to potential candidates as they walked through. The interim chief personnel officer for Florence 1 schools says they're looking to fill 50 to 75 teacher positions. So still to come, the Fast and the Furious is spinning off. And the Black Panther is back on the big screen. Find out why coming up after the break. The Black Panther is playing again at a theater near you, but just through Thursday. The superhero adventure flick, up for Best Picture at the Oscars, won the coveted Best Ensemble Award at the recent SAG Awards. This re-release also celebrates Black History Month. After 8 successful movies, the Fast and Furious franchise is branching out. Rivals from the Fast and Furious 7, Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham, are teaming up to take on Idris Elba's villainous character in the spinoff Hobbs and Shaw. It hits theaters in August. Star Trek is boldly going, maybe, behind door number 2. Star Trek Discovery's Mary Chieffo appears on today's specially themed Let's Make a Deal. She's out of her Klingon costume, though, to help host Wayne Brady with today's specially themed Star Trek episode. Contestants are dressed as their favorite Star Trek characters for today's deals. It's a first for that game show. Producers hope more crossovers could come in the future. And you can see Let's Make a Deal right here on CBS and Star Trek Discovery on CBS All Access.
On-time traffic.
Very little chances of rain.
All right, well, we'll enjoy that taste of spring while we can, I guess. Well, this is video because according to the National Day Calendar, which sometimes we like to check, today is Thank a Mailman Day. The site says it's a reminder of just how important mail carriers are to our everyday lives. It recommends celebrating by giving your mail carrier a big thank you, or maybe just a friendly smile, or you can give them a token of your appreciation, or maybe just find some other way to let them know that you appreciate them. I do believe, Jonathan, that you can't technically, you're not supposed to give them cash as tips.
Oh.
Like over Christmas time, sometimes people like to give gifts, but I do believe, or tips maybe, but I believe you can like make cookies or brownies or give them some other token of appreciation.
Yeah.
Or, you know, if you catch them at the right time, you might just be able to slip them a tip.
There's always a national day for something.
Right.
And we do appreciate, you know, they go get the mail, rain or shine. Sometimes they drive through the snow.
True.
So, I mean, they have to
but
work out in
maybe not a
conditions.
polar vortex.
Because there were some, there were some mail carriers that
it was so miserably cold.
So
it was not very good conditions to be out delivering mail. So
No.
we'll give them a pass for that day or two.
Exactly. They work hard enough.
Yes. Otherwise, good work there from the Postal Service. So we thank you if you've ever been a postal worker or are currently. Have a great day, everybody. You can always find us online at WBTW.com.